Hello all heroes and welcome back to Invincible guarding the globe, and today, this is the video that I think newer players are going to want to hear, because we are going to talk about one of the most important events in the game currently, which is CECIL'S nightmares. So we're going to get right into that. If this video does help you out or you find it interesting, let me know down in the comments below. And do subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying. It would help me out very, very much. Now, what is CECIL'S Nightmares? CECIL'S Nightmares is a stage-based, almost like a mini campaign, for lack of a better word, where each nightmare has a set number of stages, with each stage increasing in difficulty. Pretty straightforward. And depending on the nightmare, these stages give different rewards. Most of the stages, usually 1 through 4 of each clump of 5 basically, will give you gold, XP, and special XP. If you're trying to build your characters, you're probably already noticing how important that is, because yeah, you need a lot of that. A whole lot of that. So already we're off to a good start on what these nightmares can offer you. However, stage 5 and 10 is where things tend to get interesting, and where things tend to also vary, because there are many different types of CECIL'S nightmares in the game. What we're looking at right here is the standard weekly nightmare. Nothing special, nothing crazy. There's one of these every single week, and they reset every single week. So basically, you get into the fight here. It's loosely themed around certain themes, for lack of a better word. It's not really anything to take into consideration. You're pretty much just going to want to send in your heaviest hitters, because you want to get through these stages as fast as possible. When you do clear these stages, you get a score. That score is based off of two things. It's based off of how fast you can clear the stage, and if I'm not mistaken, how much HP... Sneeze. How much HP you have at the end of the stage. So you not only want to kill them quickly, but you want to do it without getting roughed up yourself. Now, we'll see here, we have completed stage 1, and we got 3 stars. We can replay the stage if we want to try and get a better score. Why would you want to get a better score, you may ask? Well, if we take a peek here at the GDA rankings, you will see there are rankings. Pretty self-explanatory. Now, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it now. This leaderboard, treat it as a bonus, as a handy little extra cherry on top. The main rewards are going to be from the individual stages, by a long shot. Whereas with the leaderboard, you might squeak out a couple gems here and there, like even with my one mission I just did, I could get 50 gems. If I get top 50%, I get 100 gems. If you can climb up a little bit, great. But treat that more as a bonus than a goal, because especially in the top 100, there are a fair number of whales who do dominate that, or at least decently high spending players who have this down to a science. That is a good thing in my opinion, because games like this thrive on people who spend money. Say whether or not you like it or not, whales keep the game alive. And those whales live in the top 100. You can, over time, with a really specialized team, occasionally crack into that top 100. I've done it before, you can as well, but treat that more as a bonus. What you really want to focus on is just getting through these individual stages. At stage 5 here, we get some molecular enhancements so you can start upgrading your skills. Stage 10 is particularly good because you can get a dossier and even a schools out pass for that GDA op. More enhancements, more dossiers, Not every nightmare has this little info button, but you can click on this little info button up top to see the rewards if they do have it. So already, that's just the weekly one. And it's pretty dang helpful, not gonna lie. The XP, ironically, it feels like the rewards at 5 and 10, etc., should be the big stuff, and by no means is it bad. But if you ask me, it's the XP from all the other stages that are the biggie. Because at the end of the day, XP is what makes this little world go round, and you need as much of it as humanly possible. So that's kind of what you get to expect from the weekly. Now, every single weekend, there is a faction-based GDA op. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that there are restricted events, restricted nightmares, that, for example, might require you to use From World Beyond characters. If I were to give an intermediate level tip, once you've got your first 5 characters established, start working on building 5 characters of each faction. And it's specifically for that, because instead of giving you like dossiers and stuff, what they'll end up giving you is gems and lab coins. Lab coins, which can otherwise be pretty rare, are in abundance on these faction nightmares. And I'm playing catch up on some factions, I will not deny. Even I'm having a rough time, because let's say I get a faction that requires From World Beyond. Great. I've got them ready to rock. Russ Livingston could use a little bit of love, but who cares when you've got Universa and Viltrumites that strong? Let's say it requires me to use GDA characters. Now we're hurting a little bit, because I simply do not have that many GDA characters built up. Like I said, this is kind of an intermediate goal. First, you need to build up your main 5, but then after you get that to a point where you're happy, you're going to want to start focusing on building your top 5 for each faction. And it is specifically for that. Now, you will notice there is this event here. This is a bit of a newer thing. They introduced this with Anissa last month, and continued it with Powerplex. This is a special nightmare revolving around the newest character. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is you can only use Powerplex in this case, because it's Powerplex's event and you can only use one character. You can't have multiple Powerplexes, you know, you sit down. You can only use Powerplex, and the rewards are interesting because you'll notice it gives a lot more molecular enhancements and a surprisingly healthy number of XP, but at the cost of actually needing to have the new character, which sometimes can be a bit of whale territory. It's a little weird because they have it showing up as gems there, but what it actually is, it says gems. What it actually is, though, is the characters. If you do get the new character decently leveled up, you can actually get some free characters. You can get some free fodder characters and even a free elite on a good day. That's one of the many reasons why you want to save your gems for new character events. Because if you can power up that new character, you can actually get some good crap, you know? I mean, especially if you do get up here. I mean, this is kind of starting to get very much into whale territory. Let's not deny that fact. But I mean, even if you can get up to like 11, 3 million a pop, 500 special, or 50k a pop for special, and it adds up in a hurry. So that's kind of something to keep in mind. You probably won't go all the way to the top unless you really, and I mean really, go whole hog or even spend money. You're either decimating your many resources or you're spending money to get up that high. But hey, even if you do have just like a couple copies, you can actually make some progress and get at least a little bit of loot and at least put yourself on the leaderboard. Once again, anything top 100 is going to be probably whale territory. But hey, man, easy gems are easy gems, you know? It is better than nothing. And once again, The real loot is from the individual stages. So, other than that, we do also usually get some event nightmares that come up every now and then, and those will very often have kind of their own little restrictions. Like, we just had the Women's Day CECIL'S Nightmare. That one required you to use female heroes. That was a good day for me. That was a very good day for me. We also tend to have nightmares that revolve around new episodes when seasons are coming out. So there's a lot that they can do with CECIL'S Nightmares. And when you're not doing campaign, you're probably going to be doing this, because it does give probably the most rewards of any mode in the game. So yeah, that really about sums it up. Just, yeah, definitely something you want to plan for. The event restrictions are a little more random, so it's kind of hard to plan for those. Except for something obvious, like Women's Day. You can only use women. I mean, that one was kind of obvious. But most of the event nightmares can be a bit random. So that one you can't so much plan for. But as you're building characters, you will get characters that you can use in those restricted events, and you'll just kind of get there when you get there. So, yeah, that's pretty much all we have for today. Let me know down in the comments below if that helped you out, if that kind of gave you some insight on how the nightmares work, and we shall see you next time. Have a good one.